everyone, I'm Lucy, you know that already. Today we are going to do a little bit of a flow, some exercises to address things like lower back pain, tailbone pain, incontinence, leaking, pee leaking, prolapse. These are all things that can be really helpful with this. Sometimes we find that these kind of issues can be linked to an hypertonic pelvic floor. So this is when the pelvic floor is very tight. It's not like something you can feel, this just becomes your kind of state of being. It's not something that we can just say, oh, I'll just relax that and I'll be done. Sometimes it needs a little bit of encouragement. And so these things can be very helpful. They can also be really helpful if you find, which is very common after pregnancy, but in life really, is when we get that deep curve, that lordosis, deep curve of the lower back, which can cause, again, lower back pain, tailbone pain. It can contribute to issues like prolapses. So these things can be all really useful. It might not be the whole story by any means, but it might be something that can help a little bit. So let's make a start. Get a mat if you have one, or if not, just a little bit of space will do. And we're going to come to hands and knees. So into our tabletop position that we know and love, and just have a little wiggle around here. So just settle in, have a little wiggle around, maybe even kind of circling the hips a little bit. If you have lower back pain, then just finding some movement in the hips can be really soothing, really helpful. And then coming to a kind of tabletop position and just checking that we're kind of, our ribs aren't collapsed down. Again, when we come into these patterns, and these are very much have been my patterns as well, it's difficult to bring awareness to these things. But I am straight, And it's not until we kind of really think about, where are my ribs here? Can I think about drawing my tailbone towards the wall behind me, the crown of my head towards the wall in front of me, that maybe we can start to build some more kind of mobility into our body and into our awareness as well. But it's all okay, everything comes in time. It's just things to notice. Okay, so from here, I want you to imagine that I've put a marble right on your sacrum, so just kind of in that flat bit at the back of your pelvis. So you're balancing that marble there, and I want you to keep it steady for a moment. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out, using that candle's breath. So as we breathe out, imagine that you're blowing out 100 candles on a birthday cake slowly. And as we get towards the end of that exhale, we might start to feel a natural, we're not dragging it in, a natural kind of lifting of the lower belly, that kind of belly button towards the spine kind of sensation. And then just let the natural inhale come back in. And then as we exhale, this time, see if you can roll that marble towards the middle curve of your back, so towards your lumbar curve here, middle of the back, but without kind of just collapsing down. Can you do that from the tailbone? So can we just adjust our pelvis a little bit to allow that marble to just roll towards the middle of our back, and then we're going to roll it back to balance on top of the sacrum, guiding from the tailbone. And now can you roll that marble, again, from your, activate this from the pelvis, from the tailbone. Can you roll that marble down, to the floor, between your knees? On there. And then that marble is going to be back on your sacrum. So just draw it back up there, come back to a neutral, where the marble is balanced. And then again, guiding this movement from the tailbone, can you roll that marble towards the middle curve of the back? So we're not kind of throwing our body around here. We're not making this all about the shoulders or the rib cage. Keep the ribs fairly quiet. They'll come along for the ride a little bit, but really guide this movement from the pelvis. So can we again, just roll that marble back towards the top of the sacrum and then down over your tailbone towards the floor between your knees. And then again, can you bring it back up to balance on the sacrum towards the middle back. And then again to the sacrum. And you really need to think about pulling the tailbone underneath you. Is it helpful if you know, many of us have these like extra teeny tiny little bones on the end of our tailbone, and there is actual movement there that you can actually really draw underneath. It's not just the pelvis. Can we tilt the pelvis and then make the tailbone draw underneath us even more? Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. And you know, let the rest of the body come along for the ride, but let the driver be the tailbone here, and then release it, release it, release it as the tailbone comes back to center, and we're balancing that marble back on top of the sacrum. Now roll it, start the movement from the tailbone, roll it to the middle back. Just see what happens in the rest of the body as we do that. There might be that kind of lifting and that reaching forward of the heart, but you know, don't get too caught up in that. Lovely. So just carry on with that. Just do a few more. You can move at your own pace as I'm talking. Following the breath, just seeing how far we can find that movement, that real tucking under of the tailbone, and then that releasing, coming back to center, slight lifting, and then back to center. Lovely. Let's just come into a little child pose here. So drawing the sit bones back, reach the arms forward, maybe forehead towards the floor. Keep the arms quite long here, reach the fingertips forward as if you're trying to draw your sit bones past your heels. And then slowly lifting up. Lovely, and then we'll come to kneeling for a moment. Give your wrists a little break here. Let's come to kneeling. Feel free, of course, to have something for your back knee here. As we bring, I'm going to bring my left foot, no, actually I'm going to do it on the other side. So keep the left knee where it is and step the right foot forwards. So right foot in front, left knee underneath the hip. And we're just going to pause here. So first of all, again, see if we can find that little bit of movement in the hips and the tailbone. Can we draw the tailbone down? So there's that slight, you know, we're not tucking under and rolling forwards, but there's that drawing down of the tailbone. Think about planting that front foot into the floor. Lovely. And then maybe taking the arms up towards the sky. Keep drawing the tailbone down, reaching the fingertips up. Lovely. And then bring the hands down, and we're just gonna, you can soften the tailbone a little bit as we come forwards. Control this through that right foot. So we're going to come forwards, maybe have your block to hand here just to support the fingertips, but really pushing down through that right foot, really pressing into the right heel, right foot, and then let your body lift back up, draw the tailbone down again, and lift the arms up. And then again, take the arms down when you're ready. Maybe relax the tailbone slightly, but again, we're not just falling back into this. We're going to just relax it a little bit to allow that movement forwards. Keep controlling that through the front foot as we maybe bring the hands towards a block. We may take the hands kind of to the floor. And just lengthen the front of the body here a little bit. And then again, maybe using a block or walking the hands back a little bit. We're going to draw the hips back. Now, if you find that trying to reach the floor, we lose any sensation in the legs, in the back of the legs, lift up, absolutely lift up, and let's feel some more. So drawing the hips back, keep the spine quite long here. And if you want to, maybe just slightly lifting the right toes. And then slowly forwards again. And then when you're ready, press through that front foot. Draw the tailbone down, we'll lift the arms up again. Draw the tailbone down, reach the fingertips up. Find that control through that right foot. Good. And then relax. Bring the arms down. Lovely. Let's switch over, do the same thing on the other side. So right knee might need some protection, so take a blanket or a cushion under there. Left foot forwards, we're gonna have that left foot flat to the floor. Maybe the heel underneath the ankle, that kind of thing, that kind of idea. And then again, can we just draw the tailbone down? Can we slightly tuck the tailbone under? As we maybe find a little bit of movement forward. We're not trying to, go for the extreme here, but with control, finding that kind of subtleties in the body, that lengthening, that drawing down. We might feel that quite strongly in the right thigh, and we'll lift the arms up if you want to. Keep pressing through the left foot as we lift the arms up. Press through that left foot, draw the tailbone down. And then slowly, as the arms come down, we might gently ease forward. Control movement forward. And then press through that left foot to come back. And if you want to draw the arms up again, we can. Draw the tailbone down. Arms down, and maybe again, easing forward. Keep pressing down through the left foot here. We're not just collapsing and hanging out. Good, maybe hands on a block, or 2 blocks even, either side of the foot. And we're gonna draw the hips back here. So lifting perhaps the left toes up, keep the left knee soft. Our intention isn't here necessarily to, come to the splits or something. It's just this lengthening through the back of that left leg. Breathe into it. And then slowly forwards again. Pressing strongly through that left foot to rise. Draw the tailbone down as we lift the arms up. Reach up high. Still breathing. And then gently down. Lovely. Good. Now let's hold it on this side for now. Tuck the right toes under. Inhale here. We're going to press strongly into that left foot and see if we can lift up. Now this is strong. We don't have to do all of this all at once. And then slowly down. Press through the left foot again. Keep drawing the tailbone slightly down as we lift up. And slowly down. You might hover the right knee up off the floor. Press to lift up. And slowly down. Good. This time hover the right knee off the floor if you can. And all the way down. Let's switch the knees again. So you might just scooch your little protection across a little bit. Bring the left knee underneath the left knee back, right foot forwards. Tuck the left toes under, press strongly through your right foot. So not doing this. We're going to keep the spine quite level. Press and lift. Maybe lengthen through the legs a little bit. And slowly, again, think about drawing the tailbone down as we lower with control. Maybe hover that back knee up off the floor just a touch. Press through the feet to rise, lift and lengthen. And then slowly down. And lift and lengthen. And then this time lower and hover. Hold it. Breathe. And all the way down. Lovely. And then bring the knees back. You might just scooch that out to the side. Take the hands to reach forward. Keep the knees underneath the hips here. And lengthen through the arms, maybe forehead towards the floor. Again, so sometimes we do this in yoga class and we kind of let the heart sink towards the floor. This time I want to think about pulling your tailbone or drawing your tailbone towards the wall behind you, lifting your ribs so ribs stay quiet and the spine is long. And then slowly walk the hands back. Give everything a little shimmy and a shake maybe. Maybe a circle around the tailbone, the hips. And then slowly we'll lift up. So for this one, you might want the back of a settee, a couch, or a coffee table or something. It doesn't have to be as low as this. It absolutely can be a dining table, whatever you've got to hand, but something that's quite accessible to you. So I'm going to take a strap. This strap is slightly stretchy, which works okay for what we're doing here. So I'm going to take my strap around my hips here, and I'm going to take the strap into my hands and have it against the back of the settee or the table or whatever it might be. So standing not too far away, but so we can kind of feel that resistance of the strap, which is around my hips. Not in the lower back, not in the curvy bit of the lower back, more kind of just above your bum crack, if that's specific enough. Okay, so I'm going to come to rest my hands on the back of the settee, and then just keeping the knees soft, so knees are soft, draw the tailbone under, so a bit like cow and cat, and then pressing into the tailbone, pressing the hips slightly away. Come into a kind of a more lengthened spine. It's not a full like a cow pose, but it's that kind of idea. And then again, using that resistance of the strap to draw the tailbone under, and then just coming back to neutral. And then again, exhale as we come into that resistance. And then just gently come back to neutral. And again, see if you can really find that tucking under. We find a little bit more there. Come back to neutral. And just do that a few times again at your own pace. You might just choose one or two or three of these kind of things that we've covered today, and do them when you remember, do them when you can, do them around the house. You don't have to have a specific time set aside or rolling out a mat or any of those things. Sometimes those things can become a blockage to doing this stuff, so just do it when you can. And then when you're ready, release. So maybe do as many as you can of those, but think about the quality rather than the quantity. And then when you're ready, just come back to lying down. So if you have a mat to hand, that would be great. And we're going to come to lie on our back. Maybe have something for your head. And just lie flat, first of all. Now that alone might feel too much. So if it does, I'd suggest going and trying out the psoas release video that I will put the link below. And but if it feels okay to do this, and then we're going to just draw, let's draw both knees in to begin with, and maybe just take a little hug of the knees. And we can maybe just rock side to side here. And maybe draw some little circles with our knees. Just massaging the lower back into the ground. And then keep hold of I'm going to take my left knee, you can do whichever, and lengthen the right leg away. And give that left knee just a little hug in towards the side of your body. So not across the belly necessarily, just kind of more to the side. Doesn't matter how close we're pulling that in. We don't need to pull it in at all. And then when you're ready, just let the arms come out to the side. And I'm going to let my left toes just find the floor and then just float down to lengthen the leg. And then open out to the side, out to the left. And bring my left knee out to the side. So I'm circling around the hip basically. But let the foot be in contact with the floor for as long as possible. And then just opening out to the side. And then circling back down. Again, just taking your time of this. Let the foot be in contact with the floor for as long as possible. Just breathing. No wrong or right way to do it particularly, so don't overthink it. Do maybe 8 rotations in one direction, and then do it in the opposite direction. So same leg, just drawing up, out to the side, and down. And just keep that leg fairly loose and relaxed. And again, keep the foot in contact with the floor for as long as you can. Maybe the mat's kind of annoying here, you don't need to have that. And just circling around the hip. And that mobility is, and you know, the movement in the hips is really important for our pelvic floor. And just kind of find a rhythm that works for you. And then when you're ready, just let that leg just rest. And you might just take a moment to notice left side, right side. And then bring the right knee in, or the other side you didn't do before. You might give that leg a little hug, you might circle the ankle a little bit. And then the same thing, just slowly letting the right foot find the floor, slide away, open out to the side, let the knee kind of draw up and around, just circling around the hip socket. And just finding a rhythm and a pace that feels soothing and relaxing. Once you've done a few in that direction, just turning in the opposite direction. Keep the rest of the body fairly relaxed. Nothing else we need to be doing here. And then when you feel like you've done kind of an even amount, both directions, both sides, just let the legs be heavy. And just stay here, rest, pause. So notice how your body feels, how it is to be here now. I very much recommend following this up with the psoas release as well, if you've got the time, if you've got the space, or coming back to it later. And feel free to stay here for as long as your time allows, of course. But for now, I'll say goodbye to you for today. Thanks so much for joining me. Mwah. All the love. Namaste.